He concludes his high school career with a grade point average of 4.67, the second highest GPA in the class of 2015. Will Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Haggerty. Good evening. It is my great pleasure to stand here before you tonight as a representative of the class of 2015. We've been together, my class, for 4 years now. It's a long time, 4 years. It's 48 months, it's almost 1,500 days. It's 35,000 hours, 1.2 million minutes, or 126 million seconds. It's all those calculations I've looked up while writing this speech. I'm going to a liberal arts college after all. I'm not going to be doing a lot of calculating. I will be doing a lot of writing, however, which is why this speech is going to be so good. One of the great things about the high school experience is that as a class, we have a bank of experiences that we have shared. One of the most obvious examples is Father Marlon. He's a character, we'll say. Allow me to explain for the parents and perhaps the freshmen who never had an opportunity to be in one of Father Marlon's class. You see, this Carmelite priest, originally from the Philippines, traveled to Canada, where he lived for years, and then coming finally to Chicago, before he left to teach at another Carmelite school in California, apparently on a quest to circumnavigate the globe. He made an impression on his students. So much so that they began to call him affectionately Father Swag. Father, really, really cool person in layman's terms. He commanded a certain level of respect from his students by almost treating them as peers. And we respected him because we knew he really wasn't. Projects in Father Swag's class included producing, writing, and shooting student-written rap videos that were focused on the topics that we were studying in class. Talk about a unique learning experience. But this experience wasn't unique to any one of us. It was shared by anyone who had his class, which was almost every sophomore or freshman who walked the halls of Mount Carmel. We shared it together as a class. As a class, we share experiences and we congratulate each other on the outstanding achievements that we achieved. Marquise Peggs, for example, has earned a full tuition scholarship to Yale University this fall. They're even paying for his flights to and from New Haven. He'll be playing football there, and he's been a 4-year athlete here as well. He was on the football team not to prove that he wasn't a nerd, but because he actually had athletic ability. Richard Eller, kind of at the other end of that spectrum, is one of the most talented artists that I've ever seen. He is the most talented artist that I've ever seen. He's earned a huge scholarship at the Art Institute of Chicago. One of the topmost art institutions in the world. That's very impressive. Or my good friend Mark Buccio, who was elected the vice president of Mount Carmel's chapter of the National Honor Society, and who has participated in many theatrical productions and works of drama in his years here, all while overcoming a kind of learning disability that would prevent many others. I don't know if I could be as courageous as Mark. I certainly couldn't be as artistic as Rich, and I very much couldn't be as athletic as Marquise. But these men deserve celebration, so we celebrate. Our class has come a long way since we took the entrance exam in January of 2011. We could not have done it alone, however. I've already mentioned the impact that Father Marlon had on our class, and the spiritual and moral growth that he brought to us. But even he could not tame us on his own. All of the teachers and faculty have done so much to bring us to this point, sacrificing an amount of time I cannot begin to comprehend. Nights, weekends, making commutes further than the students do. Our theology teacher, Mr. Bizzotti, travels from New Buffalo, Michigan every day. All given up for our sake. Sometimes we don't really deserve it. So teachers, faculty, staff, thank you. Speaking of treating me far better than I deserve, hey Mom, hey Dad. I sat for a good 10 minutes trying to think of how to express my gratitude for you, and I couldn't. I thought of the times that I would have nightmares and would wake you up for comfort, or the times that you combed my hair, packed my lunch, made sure everything was ready to go for school. Then when I finished thinking about last week, in times of trouble and in times of triumph, you've been there, always ready to congratulate me or encourage me or just stay on the football team for a couple more weeks, son. I can only hope to be half the parents of my children as you guys are to me. Many, many years from now, I hope to be a good parent. In first grade, I was the undisputed smartest kid in the class. After all, I knew what negative numbers were. Then in the fall of my second grade year, a new kid transferred in. Competition. My friend Jacob told me that this new kid was smarter than I was. I couldn't believe it. Who could possibly have gathered more information and experience than me in short 7 years of life? I had to find the cause of this. So we set up a competition. And the very next day at 10:15 recess, Jacob brought a calculator. We sat on the stairs, and this new kid and I competed. I don't know why mathematics was our only subject, but that was the only thing that was competitive, I suppose. The rules were simple. Jacob held his calculator and worked out the equations that he was asking us about. 2 plus 2, 3 plus 5. We were neck and neck. We were good. Until Jacob asked what 3 times 3 was. The answer, I had no idea. The new kid did though. 9, he said. Jacob stared at his calculator in disbelief, and I in horror. I knew smartest kid was crowned, and I was left in humiliation. Our feud continued in 8th grade when we both took the entrance exam at a Chicago high school called Mount Carmel. This new kid had tested better than 98% of the students that had taken that same test. I took that same test and tested better than 99% of the students. 1 to 1. The final installment of our decade-long, though now more friendly spirited, competition comes to a close this evening. And it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the man who won best 2 out of 3, and one of my closest friends, the valedictorian of the class of 2015, Nikola Illich.
How do I top that? You know, I was always worried that this would happen, that I wouldn't be able to write quite the same speech that Will, the same quality speech that Will could write. So I did. I decided to do a different form of speech, if you will. It's known as the spoken word. And looking back in my high school years, I had a lot of great memories. One of those memories, in particular, was English class, where after reading a poem with a lot of heart, we would automatically add to the end of the line. So I'm going to ask for crowd participation here. When I give you the signal that finishing up at the end of the line, I would like all of you to add Let's practice this together. Ready? And the line ends. There we go. very much, and enjoy the spoken word. Be free. I imagine my time up here to be much different. I imagine the great lights, the fog, the intimate atmosphere. I imagined all of you up here. The only difference is I had a pair of turntables beneath me, and you all were up and dancing instead of sitting and watching. Thank you. Well, this is not just for me. You all can join in at the end of the line. But that was a dream, and just like my aspirations, it was up in the clouds. I, however, stay firmly rooted in the soft ground beneath me where I stand. And if you are wondering what is with all these overdramatic words and emphasis, well, let me tell you, this is not a speech. No, this is a spoken word. So in that sense, I have failed my task. However, I was also asked to give advice today. My wisdom, if you will, can result in two elemental pieces of advice. First, look around you. Be aware of what is happening. Understand that things are changing, and anything not adapting to change will be left behind. At Carmel, I had to push myself each and every day, learn something new, even find motivation in the most unlikely of places. We cannot be satisfied with ignorance. You have opportunity before you. Make the most of it and do it with an eagerness. Do it with a zeal. When I was sitting in your seat freshman year, I thought, up there is where I want to be. But I wanted to be something new, something different. I wanted to innovate. Which brings me to my final piece of advice. Be the change. Oh yes, challenge yourself to come up with creative solutions. Explore uncharted territory. Test the truth. See with your heart and feel with your soul. If you want to know the biggest secret to success, it is to see where others cannot. It is to be ready to take the path to get there. And for those of us taking the path of college this summer, this fall, do not worry about the goals. Do not count the miles. Focus on the path instead. If you have one eye on the goal, then you only have one eye on the path. This path ends and another begins, but the transformation still took place. And so I end my spoken word in unison with my brothers, the men from 64th Street, the men of Carmel, the Caravan. We are family. We are MC. I'd really like to thank you all for doing that. That meant a lot to me. There were some mess ups in there, but we made the most of it, didn't we? This is live. This isn't pre-recorded. One final piece of advice, though, that I would like to offer. Gentlemen, do not waste your time here. Make the most of it. Get involved. Make friends and memories. And remember those who helped you to get to the place you are today. I know that I could not have made it here without the help of my mother. Calling my name 10 times to get out of the bed in the morning. She is a rock for both my brother and me, and not even the strongest of waves can overcome her. My grandparents, all four sacrificed some way or another, so my brother and I could attend here. Whether it was Babavilka, Miloslavko, financially supporting our education, even when we needed it most, and giving us the gift that they never had, allowing us to continue to keep learning and keeping us up to par on our creation. What about Steve? While we're at it. Creation. Or whether it was having a hot meal ready every single day when you came home from school by Baba Zoki. Don't cry. Usually followed by a 20-minute back massage. I'm a bit spoiled. Or whether it was Dito Drago helping me fix the toilet seat, the doorknob, the garage door, or the towel hanger before Mom got home and even knew it was broken. and even on occasion his hilarious Facebook posts. And I quote, "Better to be hunting up in a tree thinking about God than in church thinking about hunting." Words of wisdom. And Cindy and Uncle Dennis, we always have the best holiday conversations, and it always ends in solicitations to work for AT&T. Thank you for your continued support and laughs, Tabor Hill. And how could I forget the famed Uncle Bobby? He has been my role model since my confirmation and has been a real father figure to me, even when my own father was unable to. He picked up that cross, and I have to say thank you for that. And lastly, to my father who could not be here, I wanted to say thank you, and hopefully we'll spend some time together soon. I'm sorry people forgot, but I did. So don't spread me. Thank you, and God bless, and thank you to all the teachers, staff, and all of you, the students and parents, who have made this journey possible. Thank you very much.